Thank you. And joining me now is the Liberal Party Vice President, Fiona Scott. Fiona, thanks so much for your time and thanks for getting into the studio for us. It really did look like this morning that you weren't at all that confident that Sussan Ley would survive just less than 24 hours after she was elected. Is that how we should read that?
Oh, definitely not. That was just a bit of a joke at the time. But no, I did go on to clarify that I absolutely support Sussan. I think it's a wonderful step forward. I've had a friendship with Sussan since 2010. She was one of the first ministers I met. And I actually think that, you know, Sussan's leadership, supported by Ted, is a fantastic step forward for the Liberal Party. And it gives us the opportunity to grow and rebuild and to really dig back into our roots and our origin and lift from that position.
Given the closeness of the vote, though, are you concerned about the longevity of her leadership? Is that what you're getting at this morning?
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, that was not what I was saying at all, Laura. I don't agree with that at all. They will try to put a timeline on something with politics, and you know, politics, as you know, moves very, very fast. So look, a day is a long time, but we also have had opposition leaders like Tony Abbott that, you know, took us to an election, nearly won, and then stayed on as opposition leader. I think you've got to see as the ebbs and flows as things move forward. But I think Sussan and Ted, they're not there for a short time. They are there to help rebuild and refocus our party, and I'm completely confident that both of them will do so.
So are they placeholders, though, to focus and rebuild the party?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Look, I don't think so. And I actually think it's quite unfair on both of them to say so. The Australian public gave all political parties, not just ours, a pretty strong message at the last federal election. And, you know, it is an opportunity now that we pull together. We don't start scuttles on leadership things. I don't think that's helpful. I don't think it's helpful from the political class. I don't think it's helpful from the media class. I think what we need to do, the Liberal Party needs time to rebuild, to focus, to see what we have that is good and what we need to change. We need to do that by coming together, not by dividing. And you know what? The party room has made a decision. It is Sussan. I fully support Sussan, I fully support Ted, and I actually think they will lead our party forward, and they will do so in a consultative manner with the whole party.
Do you think they can win the next election?
I don't really want to get into those sorts of things, Laura, to be honest with you. I think right now our focus is on rebuilding the Liberal Party and working through, reviewing how the election went. And it's not just the election, maybe the trend of elections as to what are our core values and how do we reach back deep within ourselves and drive forward from that position. You know, the end result, you know, yes, sure, political parties are there to win elections, but more so than that, we're actually there to represent the people of Australia and help Australians be the best we can be and for our party to be the best we can be. And I think if you start from an organic, real position where you tell truth about yourselves, truth within, and then actually build from there and listen to the Australian public, sure, things like that will follow, but it shouldn't be the ultimate goal.
Did you realise it was this bad?
In what regard?
Well, the result. I mean, did the structural arm of the Liberal Party, given the scale of this loss, did you think it could ever get this bad? I mean, the party's a shadow of its former self, and it seems like previous reviews have just been flat out ignored.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've been flat out ignored, but I think this election has given us opportunity to look at ourselves, to also really dig within our principles. I mean, you look at the We Believe statement that's, you know, it's old in its time, but I mean, the second bullet point talks about, you know, the right to own property. You know, other bullet points talk about the, you know, a national cohesive society. There's a lot of really good values, and really in many ways we need to go back to that position, work out how we got to where we are, be truthful with ourselves, and then build from that position. You've
been in the parliamentary party, you're now part of the structural arm of the Liberal Party, so you see both sides of these things. A lot of the problems cannot be ignored are on the structural side. So what responsibility does the Liberal Party structural arm take for this loss? Of course, you being part of that. Is there an acknowledgement that there needs to be serious reform on your side of the ledger?
I think there needs to be serious reform through the entire party, and I think the result at the federal election, I mean, if you look at it, that the Greens had a pretty catastrophic result. that the National Party was also, you know, weakened. Likewise, you know, with the Teal movement too, that had evolved. I think there's actually a challenge for the entire political class. I think also in journalism classes, you know, the divisive politics is what the Australian public have categorically rejected. They've also said that they don't want politics at the fringes. They want politics at the middle, and they want to see vision and focus from their political parties. The challenge is for my political party how you grow and lift to actually be representative of the people we choose to represent, how we choose new leadership that takes our party into that direction, how we actually look at the things that worked, looked at the things that don't work. Does that mean we review polling? Sure. Does that mean we look at all of the back-end systems that may no longer be fit for purpose? Absolutely. For me, I think everything is on the table except for probably that finding principles of the core beliefs of our party that has been set in stone, and in many ways I believe those values, Laura, are timeless. And if we want to move forward from this position, we need to be able to put everything on the table and move forward, and not just, like Sussan said, yes, not err to the left or err to the right or even categorise those things, because our founding principles don't define in those ways. They're found in how we build a vision for a future Australia.
Should you be the New South Wales Party State Director?
I'm not putting myself forward for that, Laura. I mean, look,
You're not?
At the moment, Chris Stone is the State Director of the Liberal Party in New South Wales, and you know, those things will be. There's a lot for the party to work through.
Right.
I don't think it's healthy to start preempting things without appropriate reviews that have taken a deep and thorough process.
Well, sure, but you know, there's a whole new leadership team at a parliamentary level. Why should the people in the structural arm of the Liberal Party keep their jobs, given the result we've just seen?
Laura, that will be dealt with by a review.
Okay, but the last one was ignored largely, wasn't it? You made the same mistakes that you did 3 years ago in many ways.
Maybe, maybe not, but all of that will be dealt with within a review. And, you know, I think we need to take that process and really be thorough with it and ensure that it is adopted and managed through the party. And that's, I think the next step forward is to have a full encompassing review and put everything on the table.
Who should do that review, or has anyone been selected?
Not that I'm aware of at this point, but I mean, there's obviously processes to go through. This is a new process. We've got a new leader and deputy leader yesterday in Ted O'Brien and Sussan Ley, and really they also need to be part of what that guiding light will be and how that will happen. Their new shadow cabinet team will have to be part of that too. So I don't think captain's picks in certain areas of the party pulling weight on other areas of the party is also right. I think if we're going to move forward in a really collaborative way, that we don't just take our party but the Australian public with us, then we need to not sort of preempt things or put things in people's mouths, but allow the new leadership to ensure that we find a pathway forward.
Okay, Fiona Scott, great to see you.
Thank you.